I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us as we take a look at your weekend weather, the outlook as we head in towards Easter, and also the rainmaker that is crossing over dry parts of the North Island today, Thursday. And that's where we'll start with the animated wind map, but we've also put on there the rain clouds as well. And as you can see, the North Island's getting rain, which is good news. So Waikato in particular, very dry at the moment, basically drought conditions there. If we can get another burst of rain today, that is going to be very, very helpful following the other recent weeks where we've had similar totals. Again today, 10 to 30 millimetres, a little bit hit and miss, but following on from recent rain events, this is better news for the very dry parts of the Waikato. Similar story further south, Manawatu hopefully getting some downpours today as well. Similar kind of rainfall totals, 15 to 30 millimetres again as that front tracks through and across, and behind it, it turns cooler and drier as well, and that's where we kick off our Friday map. So the big low is out to the east, that's driving in a cold southerly, which will be felt around the eastern side of the South Island. It'll be cold inland as well, a little bit breezy, but mostly sunny if you're over on the west coast. The North Island's got more showers blowing through with a windy sou'wester across Auckland, and some parts of Waikato will still get showers. Others further south will be mostly dry, and Bay of Plenty and other eastern areas are becoming dry, but those showers in the southerlies are actually on their way northwards, and that's where we go for Saturday. It's a colder, showery, southerly Saturday if you live in the eastern North Island. In other words, it's a bit similar to last weekend. We had a cold, showery weekend last weekend. Similar kind of setup for this Saturday, and again, the South Island's under high pressure, which means you might have morning frosts because it's going to be a cold night for you with that high pressure system locking in the cold. So here is the rainfall totals over the next couple of days. As I said, we're sort of a lot of places that are very dry, like Waikato and down towards Manawatu. Your rainfall totals are somewhere between the sort of 10 to 30 millimetre mark. It'll be a little bit hit and miss as to who gets it. Some heavier falls, you can see there in the pink purple shading, that's getting you down towards sort of the 50, 75 millimetres and maybe even 100 millimetres in some of the mountains. But the big areas down here in the blue, green and sort of yellow, that's only just a couple of millimetres. So the bulk of the rain through central areas and western sides, although Wairarapa also looks like you'll get a bit of a soaking as well. So I think all these fronts, while sort of individually they're not doing a big reversal of the big dry we've had this year or the droughts, these rain events, one after the other each week, are certainly helping to reverse what has been a very dry start to 2019. But we had that rain at the end of last year, which is why many of you are actually still coping to some degree. So as we go on towards Sunday, it is another cold day in the south. There's another surge of cold air coming through. Many other places, though, have a bit of a breather and may not be too bad. As we go on towards next week, though, that other southerly burst moves up the eastern side. Temperatures drop again on Monday around the east of both islands. And just like we had this week, the western areas will be mostly sunny and dry. There will be a couple of showers maybe in the very north, but this is a really big high building to the south, and our final map for Tuesday shows that high expanding in, but it's still showery and cold and a bit wet, around that eastern side of the North Island. So the setup next week, that high will be expanding across the country, but as for Easter weekend, it might be around for the start, but for the other half of the weekend, Easter quite often has a bit of a changeable weather pattern. It usually starts one way and ends another. So we'll update that one probably around Sunday. We'll take our first look this coming Sunday at how Easter is going to be shaping up around New Zealand. But that is all from me today. We'll update you again on Friday with the latest for the weekend.